Okay, we have some more questions. This time I'm going to start at the bottom. KBJ76 writes, in what ways do you all evangelize at your church? I'm the evangelism chairperson at my church, and we could use some tips. Because maybe something you all do, we don't, etc. Okay, the church I was at up north and the church I'm at down here do two different ways of evangelizing, and both are pretty good. Down here in North Carolina, the teenagers do what is called door-to-door soul winning, okay, which is what we did, the adults, up north. And, the teenagers a lot of them are being raised to, serve God, and some have even been called to be preachers, and, that's a good thing for them to be out doing door-to-door evangelism all the time. But you see, you also get people that are new in the church. They come in, they fill out a visitor's card, and then that visitor's card is put out on our table where we go on Saturday morning to do evangelism, and we do follow-ups on the visit that they had to our church, and we just want to see how they like the church, if they need any type of transportation and getting to the church, if we can be a help with that, and we also want to see if they know the Lord. And we just basically all divvy up the cards and the new visitors come in, and like a couple guys will go into this area and a couple other guys will go into that area, and we're usually out for like 2 to 3 hours on Saturday mornings. Now, the way we did it up north was the way the teenagers do it down here. We actually did door to door, and what would happen is the church would have one guy in charge, sort of like what you're saying you're doing, that would take maps of the area off of Google Maps and off of MapQuest and print them out, and then each person that comes in that goes out evangelizing, you would give them a map, and the map would have an area on it. Now, an area would be like maybe a 3-block by 4-block area, and they would stay in that area until they got it done. And the map would have a couple pages behind it, and what you would do is you would write on those pages exactly what the reaction was at every single door that you went to. There's 2 reasons for that. Number one, those people might need to be followed up on. You might have some people that aren't home. So, after you finish your area up, you might want to go back and visit the not homes that you had gotten in weeks previous. You also don't want to do what's called overkill. There are some people that don't want us at their doors, and they tell us to get lost, and basically that's what we have to do. They tell us to get lost, we get lost. And we don't want to have to, like one person be at someone's door on one Sunday afternoon, and then another person come back not knowing that we had visited and visit them the following Sunday afternoon. You want to space out the visits because you're usually working in a large area, and if you have everything written down, then that one person that's in charge can kind of organize all that, so you don't overdo certain areas, and that's also why you have maps of each area, so you're in your area and then somebody else is in the area next to you. You don't go into their area, they don't come into yours. And then that way, you're not coming back and coming to somebody's door every week, and where it's overkill, you might come visit them 6 months later to do another follow-up at that point. You want to make sure that you leave the door open for somebody else to come in the future. If you might just be planting a seed, and somebody else might be watering that seed, and then somebody else might be harvesting that seed. And you never ever want to go to a door and be speaking like a prosecuting attorney. You want to make sure that you establish a trust with a person, because you don't know whether they want you at their door or not. So you kind of be a little on the folksy side, and you want to gain their trust, gain their friendship, and then get into the gospel as soon as possible. So that's how we did it up there. Young Jerry writes, what are 3 things you always wanted, materialistic and non-materialistic? Well, on the materialistic end, I guess would be a car that runs good, and I have that right now. I do not like putting out money to continuously repair an automobile. So every couple of years I go out and get a new car, so I'm not putting good money after bad. Non-materialistic. I always wanted to live in the South. And on September 2nd, 2010, I was able to do that as I moved here to North Carolina. Excuse me a minute, I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Oh, it's good. Toasted almond. The Pauly Man writes, would you rather have coffee or lunch? With and why? Pauly Man or Rico? Well, I would say by a very small margin, I like both of these people, even though they're both from the same area. I think it would be the Pauly Man following. The Pauly Man has a very creative side to him. We've seen the Pauly Man do art on his channel. He drew pictures of a couple of different people. One of them was me. He also does videos around his hometown. I love that. And I could just sit and talk with him for hours about that type of stuff. I mean, the videos he's done in Holland, and he did another one of another community recently, and filming the windows and all the Christmas stuff in the windows, and makes the little comments about it. Now that's been in some of Rico's videos too, but just a certain way that the Pauly Man does that I enjoy. Rico is a little more on the humorous side, where he's out to have a laugh out of everybody, and that's what I like about Rico. But Rico is a little bit harder to figure out. In other words, if I asked Rico a question, I might get a question as my answer. If I asked the Pauly Man a question, I would get an answer. And I would love to have lunch with both at the same time. And maybe someday we can do that when I eventually make my way up to Western Michigan. And I would hope to do that sometime in 2012. 11. So I hope that answers your question. Like I said, I love to have both with both once with both the Polyman and the Ricoh. But in the nature of how you asked the question, by a small little amount, the Polyman for the win. Just based on what I see in his videos. I like his videos just a wee bit more. Well, folks, that is all the questions I got for today. Keep sending them in. I'll keep answering them. And as usual, thank you for allowing me to bore you, and have a great day. Bye. I am saluting the webcam, but the webcam is not on.